Welcome to Unfiltered Gupshup. Hello, this is Manisha Goel, who is a functional medicine certified health coach and certified nutrition coach. Thank you to agreeing for the interview we are going to have.
It's my privilege, Aditi. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, I wanted to say everyone that she is the co-founder of Co-Create Healthy Lives, where she passionately educates and works with the clients and helping them achieve better health and wellness through personalized guidance, comprehensive support, and evidence based upon strategies rooted in the science of functional medicine. So, Manisha, how do you feel to be on Unfiltered Gupshup?
It's it's my privilege, Aditi, and I'm so honored to be here and be able to share that message of wellness with the world, which I feel every age, every person can benefit from. So I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wanted to ask you that can you share the journey on the field of wellness and how it started, how you got inspired, everything?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I wouldn't be sitting here and talking about wellness if it wasn't for my own health struggles that I had in 2014 when just going for a regular walk was a big deal for me. I had all the health struggles that I was having a negative impact on the quality of my life, and I was desperately looking for answers. And as I stumbled upon solutions, as I stumbled upon the science of how the body works, what can I do to bring back that health that I had lost? As I was able to put together my own health puzzle, piece by piece, I think there was that aha moment that if I could bring myself back, why not share this with the world? So why not take this forward and empower people with the science and strategies that help me and help them to reclaim their health? So and I went back to school, retrained, and here I am practicing as a health coach.
Thank you for doing so and encouraging the people who want their health to be taken care. What does the wellness mean to you? How can individuals achieve a balanced lifestyle?
Yeah. So wellness, if you look at it, uh, you know, wellness is more than just absence of disease. Wellness, I would like to say that it is a state of mind and body which really allows us to live life in its full potential. So, um, when you mention balanced lifestyle, right? I think, that is the key. If one can achieve balance in all of the pillars of a healthy lifestyle, we can achieve wellness. And when you said balance, I think it comes with awareness and knowledge. So once you start learning what are the different aspects of life that come together as a whole and impact my wellness, then I'm able to attend to those pillars,
Okay.
right? And those pillars I want to mention is food and nutrition. Food is more
Definitely very big impact.
yeah. So food is more than just, matter that we take in that is converted into energy, but food is actually information for ourselves.
Okay.
So when we start looking at food as information for ourselves, we say, wow, everything we eat is impacting how my cells are working.
Yes.
And that changes the whole perspective. Second is, of course, physical movement.
Yes.
But when we say physical movement, it's important to have the balance. We don't want to overdo or underdo. So having the right awareness of what is right for a given individual. For example, if somebody did not get to sleep well and they go to the gym next morning doing a strenuous workout,
Okay.
it will actually backfire because the body is already in a state of stress, and then putting it through more stress because exercise is meant to be good stress.
Yes.
But then if the body is already in a state of stress, putting it through more stress doesn't help. So sort of like understanding the nuances.
Yes.
Then our emotional well-being is important. Our connection with ourselves is important. Our social connections are important. So kind of bringing awareness to, you know, what are the different things I can do in a day? How can I make time for these individual things can help you achieve that
Yes.
balance.
When we have the thinking, like we are thinking that we have to incorporate these things
Yeah.
in our life, we have to find the time.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't have any other choice. We have to take care of
Yeah,
ourselves.
yeah. So that's what we say, that, if we spend time now taking care of our health, balancing all these different pillars, we will spend less time later taking care of the sicknesses.
Yes, yes.
So it's yeah,
So
it's,
wonderful thing.
yeah.
What are the some simple everyday habits that we can incorporate in our day-to-day life?
Sure, yeah. Talking about, there are so many I'm thinking of, but if I have to mention five, I would say the first one is paying attention to the digestion.
Okay.
Because, we all eat food, we forget how important our digestion is, the important role that it plays, because it's not just the intake of food. I may be eating a very healthy meal, but if I don't digest it well, I am not taking in all the nutrition and not taking that nutrition to the cells. So what is important is that even, for example, protein, I want to make sure I'm digesting the protein that I'm eating. So paying attention to the digestion is key. Second thing I would say is
Intake of protein.
yeah. So intake of protein, but making sure you are digesting it well, not just increasing the amount of protein, but making sure you're digesting it well. Second, I would say is incorporating lots of colored fruits and vegetables.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. So when of course, when you have more colors in your plate, your plate looks rich. What we often don't know is that those colors are actually something called phytonutrients.
Okay.
So we have heard of macronutrients, micronutrients.
Yes.
These are phytonutrients.
Okay, that's
Which,
interesting.
yeah, so which is like, every color, like the yellow color will have certain phytonutrients, the orange color will have certain phytonutrients, and so on. The blue fruits and vegetables have phytonutrients that support brain health, for example. So all of these phytonutrients are very important information. Like I said earlier, food is information for the cells. So these individual colors are actually giving our cells the important information, like how to take care of our heart health, how to take care of our eye health, how to take care of our brain health, how to remove oxidative stress, even mental health. So
That's very important these days.
Very, very important.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are so much surrounded by the social media or the digital things.
Absolutely.
It's very important.
Yeah. So I would say definitely, paying attention to, are you seeing different colors in your plate? How can you bring in a little more color? And I always tell people that make it fun. It's not discipline. It's actually more fun if you start bringing in those colors. Then the other thing I say is bringing more greens.
Okay.
We all feel like, oh yeah, green is healthy. We kind of know it at the surface. What we don't know is that the greens are actually helping us with detoxification. Greens have antioxidant properties.
Yes.
Greens also help us make a compound which is called nitric oxide.
Okay.
So when we eat the greens, we produce nitric oxide, and this nitric oxide is a molecule which is important for our heart health.
Okay.
Which helps us lower our blood pressure.
So many things interconnected.
Yes. So so just bringing in a little more green in your plate can give you huge benefit.
Everything.
Yeah. So another habit, I feel, other than things that we do, I feel it's also important to know things that you shouldn't do.
Okay.
So one thing I always want to bring people's attention to is plastics.
Yes.
So avoiding use of plastics especially in microwave.
Okay.
Or putting hot
Food in
hot
the plastic,
beverages in plastic. Why? Because what that does is that actually leaks out microplastics into our food.
Oh, okay.
And these microplastics, these compounds,
Mhm.
are so harmful
Ah, yeah.
that they can hijack our hormones.
Okay.
They can, that toxicity can
Mhm.
cause neurodegeneration.
Mhm.
Um, that can cause like all kinds of things like cancer and
Yes.
autoimmunity,
Yes.
things we don't want anywhere around us.
Yes.
So something simple as that, making sure you're not so plastic and heat. You don't want the two together.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's so many
So
I
many
can talk
things
about,
to-
but yeah,
yes.
just if I could,
Yeah,
yeah,
we will often talk about
Yeah.
more. So tell me, how can individuals manage stress effectively in today's fast-paced world?
I'm so glad, so glad that you bring this up, Aditi, because any healing would be incomplete if we did not attend to our stress management.
Mhm.
Because we live in a world where stress, like you mentioned earlier, stress is inevitable
Yes.
in everybody's life.
Mhm.
So what I like to suggest is, before we learn about what can we do to address stress, uh, if I can share what happens when we are in a state of stress.
Mhm.
So when we are in a state of stress, our body enters something called stress response mode,
Okay.
and we call it a sympathetic system. So like the entire nervous system is basically working in a way that is sending signals of threat to the entire body.
Okay.
So it's like, it's almost like sending emergency signals to the entire body that, hey, there is something not going right.
Mhm.
So digestion will not work
Okay.
the way it's supposed to work. The hormones will not work the way it's
Okay.
supposed to work. Detoxification will not work.
Mhm.
Our heart rate increases,
Yes.
right?
We feel heated.
We feel, yeah, people will sweat and perspire,
Mhm.
and people feel the nervousness, or there's so many things. If somebody stays in that state of stress mode for a long time,
Okay.
like I said, there are so many functions that are necessary are not happening
Mhm.
when somebody is in that stress mode.
Mhm.
So if somebody, if so, what is important to realize is that nobody should be in that stress mode for too long, because so many functions in the body are being impacted.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
since you asked me what can somebody do,
Yes.
because I felt, just having that preface of what stress does to our body is understand. It's important to understand,
Yes.
so that then we can say, okay, these techniques, I want to incorporate
Yes.
these techniques. So the techniques I suggest, the first one is walking.
Okay.
Even though it can sound really simple,
Mhm.
but there are so many scientific researches that tell you that when you go for a simple walk, especially if you have a trail nearby, if you can step out in nature, if you step out in sunshine, it can bring your cortisol levels down. Cortisol is our stress response hormone, so it can bring the cortisol down by 15% or more.
Okay.
So yeah, the second one is breathing.
Yes.
Because when we breathe a certain way, so we say when we breathe slow, we actually bring our body, the nervous system shifts from the stress response mode to the relaxation
Like
response
taking
mode.
long breathe.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So just saying, okay, I'm feeling
Sending
stressed.
oxygen to the brain.
Yes. So saying, I am recognizing, first of all, that I'm feeling stressed. Okay, what can I do? It's just, sitting down with yourself, focusing on your breath, and just slowing down the pace of your breathing. Because when you slow down the pace of the breathing, you can actually slow down the pace of your heart rate.
Great.
And
So informative.
so when you're under stress, the heart rate increases.
Yes.
When we breathe slow, we are able to decrease the heart rate, which means we are able to bring the body out of that stress. So breath is super helpful. The other technique I often like to share with people is gratitude.
Yes.
Because the more we practice gratitude, we start to see more of the positive things that are happening in our life.
Like day-to-day life, we have to be humble to understand the other people's emotions and their things to understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't get time. We don't think about them.
So yeah, even like a small gesture somebody did for us, if if you can feel gratitude for that, you feel there is more goodness in the world,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Like you mentioned, or even small things, like sunshine on a cold day, right? It's
You feel so brighten up.
yes, exactly. So feeling gratitude for the things that we sometimes start taking for granted,
Mm-hmm.
when we pay more attention to these things, we feel more gratitude. We are actually on a day-to-day basis, we feel so there's again a lot of research on this subject.
Yeah.
We are able to move our mindset away from stress more to the positive experiences in life.
Okay, that's awesome. So, what are the techniques or practice to enhance mental clarity and focus?
Yes, and another great question, Aditi, because I know so many of us are, we sometimes operate in a state of overwhelm these
Yes.
days, and
Yes.
not having the mental clarity or focus, right? Whether
Yes.
it's students or, entrepreneurs,
Yes, I was
or
going to say that.
yeah, because you're, or people working, their multiple jobs, or homemakers, right?
Yes.
So um, there are a few different things again that play an important role, um, and I want to definitely bring the mention of gut health here,
Okay.
because gut health is, so there is we say there is a two-way highway between our brain and our gut.
Okay.
What's happening in the gut
Mm-hmm.
is actually being communicated to the brain.
Mm-hmm.
For example, we actually produce the neurotransmitters in the gut.
Mm-hmm.
So many neuro.
Like we say gut feeling. That
Exactly.
kind of thing.
Yes. Yes. So if my gut health is not in the right place, I cannot produce the right set of neurotransmitters,
Okay.
and I will actually, somebody not having the right gut health will experience symptoms of brain fog,
Okay.
which is complete opposite of mental clarity.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I've worked with so many people who, a few months into working on their health, will start to feel that brain fog going away, feel more
Okay.
clarity in their mind, and being able to focus on the tasks they're trying to focus, not feeling
Okay.
stressed, not feeling overwhelmed.
Mhm.
So gut health is definitely an important thing to consider, to bring more mental clarity. Second is a simple technique of meditation.
Yes. Meditation helps a lot.
A simple, so what it does is, when we sit down with ourselves, we just focus on our breath.
Yes.
And there are so many different, ways to meditate. I would
Yes.
love to share more,
Yes.
in a session where we talk
Yes.
about
Yes.
meditation. But different kinds of meditation resonate with different people. So just a 3-minute, 4-minute practice of meditation sometimes can actually help us ground ourselves.
Yes.
Which,
Feel compact.
yeah, so which is almost like, sometimes it's almost like having too many tabs open in our computer.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So
Trying to focus.
yeah, and when we have too many tabs open in the computer, the computer slows down.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's exactly how our brain works if we have
Yes.
too many tabs open. So just kind of consciously, again, sitting down with yourself, meditating, can also help you just cut that overwhelm, being able to focus with more mental clarity.
Awesome information. Yes, and that's I like the example of too many tabs of in the computer. It is so relatable.
Yeah.
How can you maintain? How can we maintain strong relationships impact on our wellness?
Yeah, and definitely, a big pillar in the space of wellness, right? So, social connections, when we look at them, the social connections, they nurture our emotional well being, right? They make us feel like we belong, we're connected, we are loved, we are safe, we are protected. And above all, when I mentioned, so when we were talking about the nervous system modes, we talked about the stress response and the relaxation response. When we are with people that are uplifting, that are supporting, that are nurturing, right? So good social connections, they help us activate the parasympathetic mode,
Okay.
which is the relaxation response. So when my nervous system is in that ideal state of relaxation response, I'm sending healthy signals to entire body. I'm sending healthy signals to my digestion that hey, everything's working well up here. Go ahead, do your jobs. I'm sending healthy signals to the hormone department saying everything's working well here. So it's literally uh, the social connections can actually influence not just our feeling of mental well-being, it can also help us foster better physical health.
Yes, that's why like we choose our friends consciously.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So yes, and just finding people that uplift you, that nurture you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you explain the concept of holistic wellness and its benefits in short? I know it is a very vast
Yeah.
subject.
Absolutely, yeah. And the best analogy to explain that would be thinking of a tree. So you see on the top, you see the trunk with its branches and the leaves, and what we don't see are the roots underneath,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Now, whenever we talk about, how healthy is the tree, depends on how healthy are the roots. So holistic wellness is actually looking at the roots, saying how can we nurture the roots so that the trunk and the tree and the branches and the leaves, everything above the ground can be healthy. So looking at the roots again, looking at the pillars, looking at when something goes off balance, looking at the roots again and saying where did the imbalance occur, because once you attend to that imbalance in the roots, you're not only avoiding that particular symptom or condition, you're actually avoiding many other symptoms or conditions.
Okay.
So that is holistic wellness, just kind of like a more comprehensive approach rather than saying, this is the symptom and this exact thing to address this symptom. So it's more looking, like I mentioned, everything. So for example, blood sugar regulation, let's say,
Yeah.
right? So rather than saying blood sugar regulation is one symptom and I just need to do one thing to address this, there are so many things. Our stress plays an important role in blood sugar regulation.
Yes. Yes.
Our sleep plays an important
Yes.
role in blood sugar regulation.
Of course, food.
Food plays such a huge role, right? Physical activity, if somebody's overdoing the physical activity,
Yeah.
can also increase
Yes.
the blood, can cause
pressure,
elevated
yeah.
levels of blood pressure, blood sugar. So sort of like the holistic approach of, what is, or maybe somebody's doing everything right, but maybe they don't have fulfillment or a sense of purpose, satisfaction.
Yeah, that is contentment. You should be very content in your
Yeah.
life or in inner
So
heart.
yeah,
So-
exactly.
Yeah.
So just finding little things that nurtures your soul. Maybe other than eating a healthy meal. So for example, this if I can share, there's one person that I'm working with. She starts her day every morning. She goes and spends half an hour with an elderly gentleman
Okay.
at a senior home,
Okay.
because that brings her that fulfillment in her day.
Yes, I understand that point.
And so sometimes just finding ways to bring more purpose in your life.
Yes.
So that's, yeah, to me, that is the holistic approach.
So, what do you have specific wellness advice for the different age groups,
Mm-hmm.
like children, adults, and seniors? What can you suggest?
Yeah. So one thing that applies to everyone, whether they're kids, adults, young adults, or adults in midlife, or seniors, retirees. I feel if I could say one sentence, it would be it is never too early
Okay.
or too late to focus on your health, or
Yes.
to start caring about yourself. Because unfortunately, we're seeing rise in so many
Mental illness is more than the physical illness, I think
yeah,
so.
yeah. So there is, rise in, like you said, mental illnesses. There is rise in the numbers of pre-diabetes among,
Okay. The
all,
youngsters.
even the youngsters.
Yes.
There's rise in incidence of autoimmunity. Like there's, we're seeing in the last 10 years, we're seeing such huge rises in all of these. And then when we again, analyze this further, we say, are there things that we could do differently to change this trajectory? So that's where I feel that if everybody gets in that mindset of what can we do to nurture health, not having this notion that it's a kid, they can digest whatever they eat,
No.
and so
Everybody has to be taken
yeah,
care of.
or whether it's a senior, they matter. The world
They
needs
need,
them.
they need more.
It's not just, it should not be, yeah. So again, everybody taking care of themselves in their own way, and maybe people can come to, and that's why I mentioned, so that's why I named my practice Co-Create Healthy Lives.
Yes, I see
Because
that. Yeah.
it's co-creation. When people come together, when families come together, they start taking care of their health as a whole, the
Yes.
entire family,
Yes,
right?
yes.
From the kids to the grandparents.
Yes.
So that's the message, I guess. If I have to send, what can be done across different ages, just bringing more awareness. Learn. There is so much, we can learn. Of course, choose your sources wisely, because there is so much information out there. It's, easy to get lost in that information, but learn from good sources and see what can you do in your day-to-day lives.
Thank you very much for participating in this talk show. Unfiltered Gupshup is thankful to you,
My pleasure.
Manisha. And we have all the information about Manisha in our description box. So you can feel free to contact her, and
Absolutely.
she will be available whenever you have question. So thank you very much for doing this show for us.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aditi. Yeah, thanks for having me. Thank you, everyone.